And good Saturday morning. How are you today? I hope all is well. We're starting out today very nice, 57 degrees, and we'll tell you where we're headed for high in just a moment. Of course, today being a very symbolic day in America as we remember 9/11, all those who gave their lives. As I posted just a moment ago, today does mark the 20th anniversary of when our nation was attacked without warning. So many innocent American people lost their lives that day. In the weeks that followed, America vowed to track the killers to the ends of the earth without fail. But here we are today. Politicians have freed many of those responsible back to the battlefields to bring terror to others in our nation. As protesters stand in the street and burn our flag and teach the next generation not to call them terrorists. There are many who watched that day and reported as Debbie and I did that morning. Let no man change history. And God bless America as she faces the new challenges ahead. Those are true statements. There's so many people out there that want you to forget, not to call anybody names. It's a phobia. You're a racist if you do that. Can't change the fact of everybody that was killed that day. It's horrible. Terrorist or terrorist. Again, as I said a moment ago, let no man change history, because that did happen. And there is a lot of challenges moving forward as we see to where our nation may want to give them aid, relief. Who would have thought that in just a short 20 years later? It rattles my cage without a doubt. CNN posted some pictures a little bit earlier. If you've had a chance to look online and see any of these from that day, this was moments before that second one hit that plane. As you go down, just a few scenes that happened that day. A lot of these were not shown on television after it happened so that you would forget. And this was when George was told what was going on. Horrible scenes there as we go down and look at all of this. Again, you can visit CNN and take a look at all of these. They've got plenty of pictures to post. Let that just remind you of what happened. But there's a lot of that you can look at today and remember what really and truly happened. Do so. It tugs at our hearts to remember those who gave their lives, that had no choice, that had to jump. It's the most horrible thing that you can imagine. Have mercy. But as we remember those, keep those in your thoughts and your prayers as we move forward. Thank you for joining me this morning. Let's talk a little bit about weather as we have, perfect weather almost for the weekend here in the state of Mississippi. As we pull up radar, let's take a look at what we've got this morning. Look at that. No rain whatsoever across Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Got a teeny bit of shower right there on the eastern side there. But across Dallas, boy, it looks great there, and all of Louisiana as we look at this. Now, we're going to look at some systems that's going to be causing some havoc here in just a moment. That's the only little rain shower we've got right there, right at Columbus, Georgia, southeast of Auburn, Alabama. Not bad over there. As we come up, we do show some fog here on the east side there, south of Knoxville, from Asheville to Johnson City, Tennessee, in these areas as we look up through here. Be careful if you're traveling there this morning. Overall, a great day. 56 right now as you start your morning. It couldn't get any nicer than that. Now, we're going to get to about 87 today. Let's pull this up and see what the National Weather Service has to tell us today of everything shaking and happening. As we look at this, our high, 87. As we go up through Philadelphia, pretty much the same thing. Columbus, Mississippi will reach 88. Down to the south, Hattiesburg, 88. And back over toward Vicksburg, we'll have one of the higher degrees there. 89, 90 in Greenwood, Mississippi. As we go across to Alabama, as we look to Geiger, Alabama, and Livingston, we're looking at 87 for high. Demopolis will reach 88, as well as Tuscaloosa. Not bad at all there. As we come across this is our next thing that we need to watch. This is just developing off the coast of Africa. A 70% chance that it will develop. We'll watch where it decides to go after it gets here. We should see this midweek develop into something. Only a 20% chance of this next one here, but this is the early stages as it comes off of here. This is most likely to develop probably Tuesday-ish, no later than Tuesday. I would think we'll have some type of tropical depression named. This will be named a tropical depression probably late Sunday or Monday. And regardless of what it does, and we'll go back on radar here in just a moment and take a look at the spaghetti models, it's going to bring heavy rain to Texas and Louisiana. And we know that Louisiana does not need that. But that is what is coming this week. This will be named later this week. Again, either late Sunday or Monday. Expect a name to come out of that. I believe it's Invest 94 at this point. Now, let's go back and look at this. This is where it's sitting right now. And this is very early into the game of this. Could this go straight on into Mexico? Yes. We have several other models that have it come up through here and go right up the coast. We'll watch this as this is early on in the early stages of this. And we come back out here and we look across here. This is just developed. This one that has 70% chance. Some have it headed this direction. Some have it going north in the Atlantic. Too early to tell. But in the early stages of all this as we watch what happens. Hurricane season is not over by any means, so be ready. As we look at our temperatures, here it is. We're above average for this time of year. It'd be nice to see all that kind of blue, wouldn't it? We're hoping. Let's look at the 7-day forecast now. What we've got coming. This is what the National Weather Service tells us to expect today. Sunshine, absolutely no chance of rain. Isn't that nice here? 86 for a high on my system. The National Weather Service calls it 87. Tonight, we're down to a low of 63 and a clear sky. Couldn't ask for better than that. Tomorrow, we head off to church with sunshine and a high of 89. We'll get down to 68 tomorrow night as we move toward the beginning of that week. Although our temperatures are a little bit above average for this time of year, it's great. 86, 85, we've all felt that lot warmer temperature this year, so no complaints. By Wednesday and Tuesday of next week, actually starting Tuesday, we're back to those lower 80s. Wow. By Friday, we're at 85. Let's go ahead and look another week out there, and boy, 84, 85. Then we get to the 24th of the month, and we're down to about 81 degrees. Won't it be nice when you start hearing that word, it's 70 for a high today? We're hoping. That's what's up and coming there. Let me say some good mornings there. Karina Jones, how are you today? Joyce Snowden Godwin is up today. Terry Ray, morning. Hope you enjoy your day as well. Donna Roseman, also Charlene Gaddy. Joy Seal is up today. Pat Banks. Linda Culpepper, as she said, we should never forget 9/11, and I hope you don't. Larry Smith, good morning to you. Cindy Skipper is there. Miss Kathleen Lynn, good morning. Also, Kathy Spence, watching from the big city of Decatur. And also, Stephen Wanda McKinney, good morning to you as well. Thank each and every one of you for coming by this morning. As I said, right now the President, Joe, has arrived in New York to commemorate the anniversary of 9/11 there, and he will move on to several other locations back to the Pentagon and to that field in Pennsylvania as well as we mark this. Many lives were lost. Me and Debbie were sitting that morning, and it was first reported to us that it was a small plane that had hit the building, and then we start covering it, and you quickly could tell that it was done on purposely, and it just got worse and worse, and there was so much information coming out that morning. Never forget. It is so shocking to believe that it's been 20 years. So many lives. Do you realize how many lives were changed upon that day? Those that never got to see a father, a mother, a brother, sister, the breadwinners of the families. Their lives were forever changed. And, those folks that went to help that you'd never see again. So many of them. I ask you to remember those people. We watch right now is just, I've never seen anything like it. As we look at our nation as history is almost being changed before our eyes. If you don't like it, tear it down. And as I mentioned in that little post there, we have so many people saying, don't call them terrorists anymore. College students preach this. They're being taught that by somebody in our colleges. It's scary. College is a scary thing these days. I'm not running an education down, but there are those that are in that system that prey upon those and try to bend the minds of the next generation to think to the left instead of what's down the middle. Worries me, and I hope it worries you as well. Good morning, Betsy Holly. Glad you're there. Also, Joyce Poole. Thank you for joining us there. Charlene Gaddy. And you spent 4 hours at the museum there. Never been there, but it is very humbling. See, Cindy Giles said she remembers listening to me and Debbie on the radio when the first plane hit. You were telling us what was happening as it unfolded, as much you could anyway. Then you went to the TV. Yeah, and we were all glued. You were working at Calvary Church at the time. I think everybody remembers that moment when they watched it. And Darryl Worley, the song, Have You Forgotten? He really spelled it out the way it was. and told it how it was. And then I remember me and Debbie being in Nashville that night at the CMA Awards, and Alan walks out on stage, and everything becomes quiet. He just he picks up his guitar and does this simple little song called Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning? And boy, if that didn't touch your heart. Still as strong today as it was then. And Alan, as a gentleman would do, still takes no credit, and he just says, as Hank said, he just held the pen and God wrote the words to that song. It so blended America at the time. It was. Joy Seal said she was headed to work that morning and heard me and Debbie talking about it on the car radio. Donna Pebble said, sad, sad, sad. Rachel Garrison says, good morning, and we don't forget this day. And then we realized it was probably not going to be a lot of survivors as that morning went on and on and on. One of the toughest things we've ever had to describe that I've ever watched, ever seen. It was just that, the world paused for a moment, and we did vow to go get those bad guys, and we got most of them. We've just seen politicians turn them loose and let them go back to what they do good. And that's what we're seeing in Afghanistan now. A lot of those that were locked up that done that are now the head generals. Anyway, I've kept you long enough. Thank you for coming by and spending a few moments with me. I appreciate all the comments there. Remember, God bless America for whatever we do. She sure needs our prayers, doesn't she? I'll be back in the morning. Should there be anything breaking, we'll come live with it today to let you know about it. It shouldn't be weather because it's just going to be perfect. Right now, again, 57 degrees as you start your day, and it's a wonderful day. I'll be back soon, and thank you for spending part of your morning with me. Have a cup of coffee and enjoy that cool weather outside. Take care of yourself, and we'll be back.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by